Hi, it's Lou. It's November 12th, 2025. And still thoughts of these quilts swarming in my head. I think I've got it because I don't think I'm gonna. I haven't discussed these quilts, because I'm still thinking about them myself, but because they have a rag quilt, which would be super easy. It would be time consuming still because you got to clip it and clip it and clip it and clip it all the way around and in between. And so, yeah, what I'm doing, since I did my mug rug concoction, my quilt, I haven't finished it. I know I should have finished it by now. I have 4 of the squares done. I've got to do 3 blue, and they're not squares, they're rectangles, 7 inches by 12 inches. But when I get those done and I attach, if I don't go any further, that's only 6 feet, 72 inches. So I'm just not sure if that's long enough or if I should do, I could create a border that would be of similar, I don't know. The thing is, whatever I do after that, it doesn't have to be uniform with what's going on. So like when I attach these, it'll be 6 feet. And so maybe instead of attaching another 12 inches, I would just attach 6 inches. Do something that would work with 6 inches and attach it. With these borders, with this right here, see, it's the backing. And actually I have sewn an X across this one. Okay, so that's the only quilting it's going to have. And then what's going to happen is this will be attached to another block, and it'll be attached right down by here, and then this will fold over halfway and then fold over again on top of that material, and you do a top stitch, and actually it'll be quite beautiful. And instead of being traditional, just like with my other one, which isn't finished, it's done in red and this blue. But see, I've got some different materials now, and I'm just now making these blocks, and I think it would be great. I could put different colors. I saw someone else doing that today on here, so maybe they heard me talking about it, but sometimes I see what I'm doing pop up. Someone else has done it. I saw it like my mug rug, the way I did my mug rug. They took that and then they put it on like denim, I think, for the back. So I don't know what they were making, but it was wide enough to be their whole project, but they were only putting the size of those strips right down the middle and not any padding. So that would make sense with the denim. And so also adding each piece of material, you're sewing in a seam, so you're making it thick. Hopefully you'll understand what I mean. Let me show you. It's right over here is my stack, which is what I need to work on. I need to finish my stack of 7. It goes across 7. So I've got 3 blues that I have to do yet before I can attach them to anything. Let me show you. I guess I can show you in steps. I know I've already shown you if you watched the other videos, but this is what it looks like before you add material. And what I've done, that's the backing. That's going to be the backing of my mug rug. And then it's got the binding, that extra material, that inch more around is your binding. And so these would make beautiful mug rugs. But I wanted to find out, okay, well, you know, I can hook those together to become a quilt. And you still have that inch to bind on both sides. So by the time you do that, you're finished. Except for in the end, when you're going to trim out the whole thing. But when you do that, it's still going to be where you're sewing. All the heaviness is over here, and your sewing machine's over here. But I think that's beautiful. I really do. And by the time this is framed with that blue. Okay, so we'll take that one down. See, I had one blue one done. So I've got 3 to go. Because it happens that this row that I need has 3 blues. So anyway, I have 3 reds already done, except for they're not attached. But see, they have the extra material. This is the first one. And then here's another one. It'll be all framed. It won't be rugged, ragged like that. Then you attach these things together for a quilt. They look pretty good. Really quite colorful, but the idea is it's a way to do a quilt as you go. And it's something that you can do without having to have a big old quilting frame and stuff. You just need some room for your material once it gets bigger over here. But anyway, let me see. Probably should show you with the blue one, but I'll show you with the red one. So here we have 2 pieces. So you want to look and see what your colors are and see if you got too much going together. So that probably could be all right like that. Okay, so then I would take these. So if I'm going to do red and blue. But the idea is that you pull the back in, pin it together, or not, and sew a seam right here. So then you can pull this, you fold this out so you have 2 pieces, and then you pull this in because you have that inch. Do I have some pins? I could do that. I should be using the blue one so you can see in contrast. And I should pin it different too. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell what I'm talking about, but here in the middle, see, you've already done a seam, okay, and you did it all the way to that material that you have added on, which is an inch, about an inch is what it should be. And I really can't see without my glasses very well. That should open wide open. All right, give me these things. I need to make an eye appointment. Okay, let's see. Crunch it. It is so put together there. Oh, no wonder it's down there. I couldn't get it apart. All right, so it's going to have that inch seam. And then both of these sides will fold open to there. So then you can pull this in. You pull it in halfway and then fold it again, and then you top stitch. But you make sure that you're top stitching over the material. I don't know if you can see that, but I think you got it. This thing splits open. When you sew it together, you sew way down here, and you're joining these two blocks together, which will have the quilting done already on it, and then you're going to bind it. So when you bind it, it'll have a whole nother row of stitching. But it's really wonderful. I don't know how heavy it is. Somebody was saying it might be too heavy. I'm going, huh? Because it didn't feel heavy. But then again, you know, when you add all of it put together, maybe so. I can't pin that together because it's not going together. It's going to go with a blue one. And I do have a blue one, so let's see what happens here. Yes, I'm just chit-chatting. Okay, let's see. So we have a blue backing. We have a red backing. Okay, let's see if these colors go good. Okay, they look like they go pretty good. They're not exactly crossed. Okay, so then we're going to take the back and put it together. And since I'm going to do that anyway, I'll go ahead and pin it. The material is 14 inches long. And then the quilt batting is 12 inches long. So I've got exactly 2 inches bigger in the dimensions. So that this will do that self-binding thing. You can connect each row. And if you do it as you go, it's not as awesome. I mean, overwhelming would be like the word, not awesome. An awesome task was what I was going to say, you know, but don't want you to get lost in that word awesome. But I'm learning. There's some really great tutorials on YouTube. But I'm not going to stop and slow down to do that because I have too many to do. I'm going to go with colors that they like. I'm going to go with the easy design. And the problem is, what I got going on now is 6 by 6. That will be the dimension of each block once it's attached. Because I did the same thing. I'm this extra material on the side works out really good because it'll end up being encased. It'll be quilted to its backing. And I'm kind of excited. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not going to stick with just one color for the backing. I'll do I want to be able to do squares and trim them to the material. What is that material? What colors are in it? You know, and if I have a backing material that matches, because you're going to be binding around that square. It just would be cool to have different bindings, different colors. All right, so this is pinned together. You probably don't need to do it, that's overkill, but I pinned it together to keep it all straight. And then these front and back should be at the inch mark, should start material, and end at the inch mark down here. So then when you put it together, and this right here comes back over, it folds over this raw stuff, and you top stitch over the top, and it all becomes like one piece of. Now see, I've got two in my hand because I was saying, boy, that does feel thick. Well, it's got two of them put together. But if you look at it, See how it's going to turn out? And then this will end up being smooth over there. That quilt is turning out really nice. Busy and bold. You could take the same kind of dimensions and do something different. I mean, have a whole different color palette. Just remember, whatever is on the back will be your sashing or binding, whatever you want to call it. So if I did all of them in blue, everything blue, then each one of these would be framed out in blue. And it would probably be about that wide because it's going to be 2 of the finished binding. When you join another square, it'll be, see, this has got blue on one side, so that's going to bind this in blue, and this is going to fold over and bind this one in red. But if I had a whole bunch of different colors and I did them in squares instead of rectangles, I think it'll be worth it. What seems to be a lot of extra work isn't. Just depends on how you look at it. All right, so I've got 3 red ones and 1 blue one done, and I've got to do 3 blue ones. But I started on these, and so I've already showed you, right? These are the materials that are in those rectangles, those mug rugs that I did. But this is square, 6 by 6. The middle part is a 6-inch by 6-inch square. The blue is an 8 by 8. And so this is right smack in the middle of it. And I have sewn that X. Excuse me. So that'll be the quilting. Because by the time this is done, this is going to fold in. And then there's going to be top stitching that goes across here. So it will have all the quilting it needs just with that X. And I think if I did an 8-inch square, like this size, and then a 10-inch backing, then I think I would do that tic-tac-toe thing. 2 lines going down, you know, evenly spaced, 2 lines going down, and then turn it around and 2 lines going the other way, giving the tic-tac-toe effect. So anyway, we'll take this. I just got started on it. These are all the blue, and they're not all the blue. I just stopped myself. But, you know, I'm thinking I got to order more of this, actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is henna or if it's cranberry. So I was trying to get a burgundy. But this, every square will have its binding, but it will all be quilted and attached and beautiful. So, okay, let's take this. We got this one. These go good together. We got this one and this one. We're going to take the backs and put them together. See, to me, it just seems like it's overpowering to have all of it be royal blue. But then if somebody loves royal blue, they might love that. So I was asking Kevin, and he said royal blue and baby blue. And then I told him I needed more colors. You know, because 2 really isn't enough. In the beginning, I was just going to look for 2 colors because I had seen somebody do a quilt with just 2 colors. But I'm not going to do what she did. And I'm not going to do rag quilts, I don't think. I mean, they would be the easiest, kind of. You're still going to take time because sniffing around all these seams doesn't really sound like fun to me. I left my pin cushion in the other room. However, I have pins in here too. All right. So, let's see. Did I did. Okay. So I have taken the backs. Okay, when you make these squares, when you make these sandwiches, you put the pretty side down. Okay, you put the pretty side down, then you put the batting in the middle of it, and then you put the top piece on top of the batting. So the batting and the top piece are going to be the same size, and then the back piece, whatever you do, is 2 inches bigger. Meaning if you have an 8-inch square for your inside where your padding is going to go, and because your outside is going to be your binding, meaning your backing, and then it's going to fold over and be a binding. It's going to be locked into another, just like I'm going to show you here. It's going to be locked into another. Did I start that? I don't think I did. Here, give me that. Haha. Do. I just have to get it straight in my head, and then I'll just go about making a ton of these. And then we'll kind of put them together. Now see, he wants royal blue and baby blue. What do you see? I see royal blue. And then if you look at the shades of the flowers, guys like flowers too. I haven't ran that by him, but I have that material and I love it. And I have to like what I'm doing. No. Anyway, he also gave me black and gray. So I have purchased, I had a bunch of black coming, and I went to the store Tuesday. I don't know what today is. I know it's the 12th of November. Anyway, time gets away from me. They're going to be beautiful. Okay, so I was going to show you this, and then I decided, well, I'll just go ahead and sew it. Turn you over here so you can see the machine. Anyway, I have pinned these 2 blocks together, okay? This material is going to end up, but I'm going to sew a seam right down here by this material. Not trying to get into the material, but if I do, it's not devastating. But you want to get as close as you can, because you're going to fold that over and it's going to become your casing. And I know if you've seen the other videos, then you've seen me do this already. Dum dum. Okay. The Spirit of God, like a fire, is burning, I think is what's in my head. Sometimes I'd be singing songs and I'm not sure where they came from. I mean, I know the song. So what made me sing it? You know what I mean? Because a lot of music that comes out of my head is something I've heard before, and it just matches. Parts of whatever is in that song matches what's going on in my head. So I'm listening to the song, but I don't have it all. Da dum da da dum dum, oh be not dismayed, for I am thy God, and will surely give you aid. What more can ye ask than to you? He has said, you who unto Jesus. Anyway, the part about surely giving you aid. That's pretty cool. Anyway, this method, I think, could just leave the door wide open to you making parts of it, and then joining parts of it later. I'm backstitching. I was not backstitching, and I don't know if you need to backstitch, but I did. Because when there is a question as to whether you should or shouldn't, we will just go ahead and do it, right? Okay, I just wanted to show you. So I took these two pieces and I put the back together, and then I sewed a seam from up here all the way down to here. Now, okay, I need to be able to see what I'm doing here. Let's put it down here. Okay. I can go ahead and encase it right now, and it won't hurt anything, because I'll need to do that before I go on to the next row anyway. Okay, but I've got it separated now, okay. So the thing to do is, if you need an ironing station set up, but otherwise you can just do it with your fingers, press it down. Okay, and so then I'm going to end up I'm going to turn this in halfway. In other words, you're going to take and fold it into here. I can't see very well, but then you fold it into there. Then you're going to fold it in over that material. And then you'll top stitch it. You see, that is just blurry. Okay. So you get the idea. I'm not doing it perfect. So it'll be a binding, and it will encase this whole row of material. And then the same thing's going to happen over here. You're going to fold it in halfway, and make a binding, and then sew a top stitch on it. And then that's what you're going to have. That's your two squares. And then this square will be encased, just like on the side here, all the way around. Okay, so then just think about what I was saying. Like, if I had some materials, this goes really great together. I love this. But if I wanted to add up different backings, different squares with different color backings, they would be bound and they would match their square. And then on the other side, it would be the backing, the color of the backing for that square. So you could have a bunch of different colors on the back as well as on the front. And then this is what the back looks like. And look at that. There's a diamond shaped in the middle of that. So that's going to be what it looks like going all the way across. And just remember that this will fold over. And on the bottom, that's going to fold over. And I don't want to go ahead and do any more than I've done, because I'm going to concentrate on making squares and putting them together. And little by little, voila, I'll have a quilt. Serious biz. And so I'm happy with this because this is less work, okay? The work is in cutting the material out, getting it squared up into the right size so that everything goes together well. And then, you know, having it centered where it's supposed to be, which that grid thing really helps, because it shows me where the inch mark is. And it's supposed to be an inch all the way around more. Okay, so then it's going to end up having a top like that. And it'll be top stitched. And then the side will be just like this over here, which I don't have done yet. But I showed you that. I showed you that quilt. Go back and look at that video, that really bright, flamboyant quilt. And it's not finished. I have to do those squares. I have 3 blue squares that I have to, they're not squares, they're blocks, but I have to put the material, those strips, onto it. So that's what I was saying, is that right there takes strips and strips and strips, whereas this just takes a square, a pretty piece of material, batting, and backing. And I will do a whole bunch of squares like this, going down. I mean, they'll turn sideways. They'll go wherever I put them. But the point is, I'll put a whole bunch together in a row until it reaches, maybe, I don't know if I want it to reach the length or the width. Because I can start with the width and just add and add and add. I think it'll be easier to do that, because the width is not going to be, I'm doing these as personal ones, so the width isn't going to be horrible. I love it. I love it. I think those two go really good together. I mean, I could just do a quilt with those two. But this is going to be part of one too. So it just depends. I've got a bunch of different ones in here that were on the other. See, the blue flowery thing is not part of that original quilt. Let me see. But I could take, this one is on there, which is like that one. But I could take these blue flower ones out. And then anything, even that solid square, okay, anything that is part of that original quilt, it has this blue, this one here, you know, I've got a couple of those. The point is, these are pieces of the same material. They're just cut in a different dimension. Would go for adding on an extra row to that quilt. It would even be unique. Okay, here's my kitties. And see, these, if I just wanted to do it, it's the same thing. These would be nice, large coasters. Perfect, because they have the batting. They only need one layer of batting. You see my kitties? I gotta get my glasses where they belong there. Okay. So, this will have, if I just used it as a coaster, this would have the binding all the way around it. And the back would be blue. So I've got a couple of those. Anyway, the point is, when you're creating, you're in control, right? I'm excited, especially if I can find something that I can do without it taking forever and it'll look good. And like what I was just talking about too, that this could be a solution to that size on my quilt. Just run a border of this. I'm excited. Excited I am. So I just have to get a bunch of them done. And I am excited about doing the binding as you go, the quilting as you go. The quilting is nothing, just that X. Then this will bind in, which I know I already showed you. It's just that it is exciting, because then you're done. Top stitch that. And you do it in a the technique would be like doing it in a row. When you're doing these, you can either do it as you're going, which you do the sides as you're going. And then when you're going to be joining another row, then you'll be going down here and sewing this inch thing. So this will go up, and whatever's down here will go down. So do I stick with one solid color? do I just make quilts that have mostly their color? Use what I want. I love these. And see, this could have a red back, or it could have a light blue back. Anything that goes in here, it could even have a yellow. And so then on the other side, if this was yellow, then this thing would be yellow. Then it would be joined with whatever other colors. Whatever. But then again, they could just all be the same. And that would be pretty too. But see, I like that. And that's not necessarily what he has chosen. Just the royal blue part. I'm going to go ahead and got a song playing in my head, something about staying forever. Forever. Okay. And see, this makes it short too. Okay, so I'm going to, I have to kind of hold on to these strings when I'm just starting, because I do not can't see to thread the needle very good. And so if I don't hold on to those strings, sometimes it just pulls the thread all the way up. And then I have to thread the needle again. All right. I need this thing to where I can navigate. There is, speaking to whoever was wanting the very nice lady to do something. Anyway, I've had sewing machine cabinets where the thing that you push to make the needle go up and down is on the side, so that your knee just goes out and hits it. You control it with your leg, not your foot. But this one has got the foot. And every machine, I mean, they basically thread the same, but they can be different. And I don't feel like I'm good enough at showing you how to thread. I do my best. It's hard for me to sit still and watch a video, but I did watch a couple this morning. Come on, get out of there. So the more I watch, it helps. Let's see, I did this wrong because I already learned what I want to do, because I don't want to lose my thread. So I could have just pulled it out, stuck it in to the other side and started again. That's what I have done, because it holds the string from, it makes it where the string does not pull through. Okay, let's see if I can do this. You fold it in a 1/2 inch, but you don't got to be too persnickety. You just want to fold it in as far as it'll go and have it look good. Okay, now I'm starting over, so I need to hold that thread before I have to thread that needle. Please don't make me have to thread the needle. Okay, I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna pull it back up. It just makes it seem too fat. Okay, let's get it in there. Get it in there. There's a song playing in my head. As far as I know, I wouldn't have that in my head. I'm not letting you see again, am I? On the tail end. Sorry. All right, so what I did was I went ahead and encased these two in the middle because I've just only got those done. But I wanted to show you what it will look like. But also I was thinking earlier I could make coasters because this would be what the coaster would be. Okay. Can you see it? That's top stitched over that material. Got it? So then when I'm done, if say I was done with all the squares I'm going to add to this top, then I would just do like I did before and fold it over and fold it over again and stitch it down. And it would be that big, just that big of your binding. And it's already there. It's already there. That's the neat thing about it. My top is a little off here. I'll just trim a little bit. Sometimes things that seem, oh, it's out of whack. It's not squared. You can fix it. Anyway, so I think that's neato. Neato king. So now if I wanted to, I could just pick a color that's in here. Even like the red. I need to go make some red 8x8 squares. And then I could put red next to this. So then the binding for this one will be the blue. But then the next square, it will still be the blue if I wanted it to. If I wanted to just put a red square, because this has red in it. Red and white and teal green and a light blue. I'm just saying, if you wanted to add squares that were solid like this one, just different colors, those would look good around that. And then you have this one. No, this one not. This one I wouldn't put it right next to this one. But it could go next to this one. Or let's put it up here. It could go next to this one, and then you could put a solid teal or whatever you wanted to, okay? This has red too, so if you wanted to put red next to this one, then you could put this one next to the red, okay? But it's broken up. This one is not next to this one. I wouldn't put them next to each other. But that's me, okay? But I love these. I love the idea of it. I think it's going to go together pretty quick. You just have to make a whole bunch of squares. And then I'll join them like that. And then when the whole row, when I know how wide it is, I can stop. And if I know I'm going to use the same material all the way out through the back, then I can just go ahead and bind the top. Top will be done. Except for the sides. So I also could just leave the top alone until I know for a fact I got everything done and I know what I want to do. I'm excited. I'm excited to quilt and to be able to do it on my sewing machine. So it's really wonderful. Now see, I also have some black material. All the material is 100% cotton. It's not velvet, it's just cotton material. But it looks velvety to me because it just is so rich in color. Plus my eyes are playing tricks on me anyway. But I love it. I think it's just great. Yep, super. And I love royal blue. I love royal blue. So I don't necessarily know that I want to break it up. But when I'm making my squares, I can think, okay, I think I want to have red squares and I want to have green squares. Because I have a, what's it called? Harbor blue, but it looks green. Would go perfect with this one here. Actually, it'd go perfect with both of these because this has the green in it too. Plus, I just got some forest green for Carly. That would go good with that. I bet she'd like that. Because you got to have some variety, okay? She just said green, and then she said under that forest green, and in the forest you see a lot of different shades of green. Well, I see some shades of green in here. Kind of hard to see from here. I don't see very well. Where's it at? Okay, so right in here, there's some green. But whatever you do, I mean, I love this light blue next to this. But see, you could even do the yellow and the orange. I've got a lot of quilts to do, and I don't know that I can get to the significant others. You know, but like Diego, I asked him what colors he likes. He said orange. Well, I need more than one color. But I first have to take care of my grandkids and my daughter. And then, like Carly's married, and I'm doing personal size. I'm not doing double size. So they can sit on either end of the couch together, but have their own blanket. You know what I'm saying? And the ball colors, that was just an idea of what kind of colors Tyler wanted. So we kind of got carried away with that. And my mind has just gone all over the place since then. I'm excited. I am. So I have to make a bunch of 8-inch by 8-inch squares to go with my 6 by 6-inch. The gray would be pretty, but I don't know if it'd be that pretty. I mean, it depends on how much you like gray. Myself, I don't know. I like black. But everything needs some variety. Now see, with the black, though, you have the black, that'll be on the back, and it would be encasing all of these squares. Would be framed in black. That would be pretty neat. So that is what I'm thinking. And this is all I've sewn today. So I'm going to get after it. I'm going to get these put together, and I've got a whole bunch already that I need to put together and need to square them up so that when you sew them together, you have room to do what you need to do. And not too much stuff, you know, like I just trimmed off where these two seams met, and it's still not exactly straight, but it doesn't have a bulge up here. So this has a smooth line, even though it was not smooth. And the bottom, it was already like that. Can you see it? In other words, it's fluid, the same, whereas the other one was not. It was a little bit, one was taller than the other. So now it's, both of them is the same. I'm trying to get all these threads off here. Okay. Anyway, I am elated, excited, because I want to have fun while I'm doing it. And then hopefully, I don't know, because it does, you know, like I said, the quilt that I already was doing, almost finished, is red and blue on the back. And that was just because I was doing mug rugs, and I wasn't planning on putting a quilt together. And then I'm thinking, wow, because I saw a tutorial, how they put it together, and I'm going, ah. So it was an experiment, but it was a successful experiment. And I will be able to quilt as you go without having to have a fancy quilting machine. My hair is just not very thick up there. Okay. I know, I have not read any scriptures. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. That's a scripture. I don't know where it is. But we do need to strive to be better. Do our best. Even in this quilting, I'm excited. And yes, part of me is like, okay, I want an easy way out. But I do. I want it to be pretty. I want it to be made by me. I want it to last for decades. Handed down to their children and their grandchildren or whoever. Not thrown away. Someone is trying to get a hold of me, I think. So I should probably check that out. Listen, people, take care. Do your best. And get your rest. I have to get my rest. Because I know that my skin and my face, actually my whole body would be doing much better if I get rest. That's what they're saying. You rejuvenate while you sleep. And if you don't sleep, you're robbing yourself about. And I haven't been able to sleep forever. I have been getting, I think I've been getting 5, 6, and 7 hours of sleep. I feel really good about that. Because for a long time I was not. And if they're saying the same thing about your wrinkles, everything, you need to sleep. So I guess I better do that. Plus I know that the circles around my eyes have to do with that too. So I must do better. So I'm doing good in some ways. I'm doing bad in others, but I am trying to do better. And I'm doing better at my quilting. This is going to be cool. And see, I love this because every so often, I can't see. Every so often I can throw in a block that's got kitties. Or a block that has puppies. Soften it a little, But I love that. This goes really good with this royal blue. And so I think it would make a nice square here and there. It's even got brown. It's got an orange kitty that's kind of got some brownish tones in it. But the puppy dog's definitely got a lot of brown. So I still have, even though I bought a bunch of material, I still have a lot more to buy. Because I want to do all kinds of different things. But I'm excited, people. You guys take care, all right? Peace. Love. Spread the love. In a Christ-like manner. Be helpful. Be kind. Have a smile. Talk to you later.